check it out. We got some cool new parts that we're going to be installing in Ryan's Jimmy and my Blazer BYT to help us keep cool this summer, courtesy of Vintage Air.
We've both picked up kits from Vintage Air and ordered them for our truck specifically. There are going to be some differences, but we've got your kit unboxed here. Let's check it out and see what all you got.
These kits come with everything. The compressor, full wiring harness, all the ducting, vents, air box with the heater core, AC evaporator, firewall block-off plate, condenser, AC hoses, and all of the mounting hardware. My kit is set up for an LS engine because I've got an LS swapped into mine.
My kit that I ordered will be for a factory small block, which I still run in the Jimmy.
So his compressor is the same as mine, but he's set up for V-belt. I've got a serpentine belt on mine. So the bracketry involved will be a little bit different, but everything else is on the trucks is basically the same.
Yeah, there might be slight differences just because yours is a non-AC, just a heater truck, whereas I have factory AC setup with the extra vents and a few extra parts that will make the kits just a little different.
It's nice that I can order this kit for a truck that only had a heater from the beginning, and it comes with all the pieces you need to make the conversion.
It's going to be great because you can basically turn your truck into an AC cab, adding vents, and the new controls are going to be pretty slick.
Yeah, it comes with everything you need to convert the stock pull cable type controls to an electronic control, so it'll work with the condenser and fan and everything that comes from Vintage Air. I'm excited. Let's start installing this stuff. As you can see under the hood of my truck, mine was a heater only truck, and all of the stuff that goes to the heater system is right here. The heater core, the fan, and all of that. Well, all of that's going to go away and going to be replaced with this nice block-off plate. It's going to clean up our firewall a lot and make a lot more room under the hood here. On Ryan's truck, there's a lot more stuff here. That's because his truck came with factory AC. Well, the Vintage Air stuff all fits up underneath the dash, so all of this is still going to go away. And so he's going to get the block-off plate and clean up his engine.
We've got to clear out quite a bit of stuff. We've got the air intake, that's got to come off. Passenger side fender needs to be dropped down, and also that's going to give us access to the air conditioning housing and blower motor housing that we've got here. So that'll all be able to come off. And the instructions do say that you should be draining your coolant system. I think we're just going to plug the lines and keep that all hooked up so we don't have to drain the whole radiator. I think Josh is going to be doing the same thing as well. So see how that goes. So here's some of the fun part about working on an older truck is sometimes you run into rusty bolts, which I just ran into. Got one of my inner fender bolts here that doesn't want to come out, and so I'm going to end up cutting it off. Okay, I can lift this right out. Voila! Not gonna use this anymore.
One down, there we go.
All right, your turn. So cool thing with these kits is that Vintage Air sets you up with the right parts that you need, especially if you order through them on their website or talk to their customer service. In this case, I have steel brackets that are going to work on my small block Chevy. Josh has this aluminum setup that's going to bolt up to his LQ4 engine. So I have to clean mine up and actually paint them, or else they're going to get kind of rusty. And aluminum doesn't rust, so Josh doesn't have to worry about that.
This is the brackets I have to mount the compressor to my LS. It explains exactly how you're going to have to put this together. Let's go through these instructions and get this compressor mounted up. The LS engine compressor bracket is a little more complicated than the small block bracket, but the instructions include detailed pictures, so I was able to put the pieces together on the bench. Before I can install the bracket, I need to remove the old tensioner. The kit includes a new tensioner pulley that will mount to the new bracket. That's not going anywhere. All right, I've run into a slight problem here with getting the compressor installed. Got the bracket on, no problem. Got the compressor itself installed, not a problem. And now I'm working on installing the tensioner pulley. But where this wants to be, it's impacting my lower radiator hose. So right here, I had to squish the hose to get it into place, and obviously that's not ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the lower hose here and shorten it up and see if I can get that angle a little bit better. See if I can get it low enough to where it doesn't contact that pulley. All right, after cutting down the hose we had here, came to the realization this just wasn't going to work. What I really need is just an elbow that comes across and this downturn that it was causing the kinking. Went to the store, picked up a 90-degree elbow here. We'll get this cut down to shape, probably about there, and we'll go on. Got this cut down about to the size we needed. Of course, that means it's unreturnable, and failed to take into account that I need a different size on each end. So this is garbage because it doesn't fit. So try number 3. This one, at least, is flared out on this end and narrow on this end. So I should be able to cut this one down and get this one to fit. All right, I think we have a winner. We're on here, no kinks, and we're running right over there. And you can see the tensioner pulley is on, no interference. I'm calling this good, and let me go ahead and tighten it up and move on to the next step.
Now that we've got the paint dry on these brackets, we've got them laid out here next to the instructions, you'll see that they point out there are 3 different bolts that the brackets will attach to on the engine. There's 2 on the exhaust manifold and 1 on the water pump. Now coming over to the engine, you'll see that the AC compressor is going to live right about here. And the different bolt locations right there on the headers for my engine and also the water pump. So I've got all the brackets for the air conditioning hooked up, and I'm seeing that I've got some fitment issues. These are the DIY 4x shock towers, and let's see, there's a little bit of interference there. Since we're having that clearance issue, I decided I'm going to trim this mounting ear off since it's not used. We're only using 3 of the front ones here, and this back one here is just interfering with the shock mount, and it's not actually used. So I'm going to clearance it. I don't know if I'm going to cut it all the way off. I'm just going to make it thinner here, and I think that's going to make the difference. So on this side over here, we massaged this ear so that it would fit with the shock tower. And that was needed just because it wouldn't rotate out far enough and sit where it needed to sit. Well, on this side,
as we were trying to get the right belt to fit up, this mounting ear was contacting the valve cover, and it wouldn't allow it to slide in enough so that we could actually get the belt on. And there wasn't enough play going out to get a longer belt. So that ear had to come off, and it now has enough movement. It's not a used part of the mounting system here. So having that cut off, or even cutting off all of these mounting tabs, would be fine, at least in this application. In others, they probably need it, but for my truck, all the mounting is done up here on this front bracket plate. All right, so the condenser is going to be living right here. I've had my power steering cooler in this same spot, so that's going to have to be moved out a little bit. But the dryer also goes right about here. And this is my transmission cooler. These are going to interfere.
All right, I'm starting to work on getting the condenser installed. And so I have because I have a non-AC truck, I've got the bracket here that indicates where you need to drill a hole for the AC lines to go through. But luckily for me, got that put up there, and voila, there's already a hole. So evidently, this truck, although being a non-AC truck, I ended up with an AC core support. All right, with the hood latch out of the way, this should just drop right in. I've got some winch cables right here that are kind of in the way, but looks like it fits pretty good. Just put this back on. Bolts right through there. The next step in installing the condenser is to install the hard lines through the core support. Now, these hard lines have a pretty significant bend in them, so there's no way to feed them through from the engine bay side, so they've got to go through the front. And unfortunately, with the grill in the way, there's just no way to get this line through there. So I had to pull the whole thing apart. But there's the hole, and now we can thread in our line and put it in just like it's supposed to go. Ryan, it doesn't say so in the instructions, but you're going to need to pull the grill in order to get that line through.
No, looking at it, I think I can do it. This GMC grill is just a little bit different. Turns out 4 headlights is better than 2 in this case.
That sure saved Ryan a whole lot of work. All right, next up, installing the safety switch.
All right, so a neat feature that we've got with these kits is they're supplied with 2 different types of pressure switches. One that we've already threaded in here is just a binary switch, and that basically just sends a signal to the compressor to turn on when everything is right. Well, trinary switch is also an optional piece that they send in with it, or an extra piece that we can get with the kit. And what this does is it not only sends the signal to the compressor to turn on, but we also get a second signal that goes to an electric fan. So whenever we have the air conditioning engaged, we also have a fan turn on to help with the air movement and cooling down the condenser. We're both running electric fans in the BYT and the Jimmy, and so it makes sense to use the trinary switch and get our second fan to kick on and maximize the output of our air conditioning. You know what I could go for? More tacos.
Now on this side of these lines, normally this is where the battery tray would be, but I've moved my battery over to the driver's side as part of my LS swap. So you're supposed to mount these lines to the bottom of the battery tray. So at some point, I'm going to have to build up a bracket from here or off of this bracket maybe to secure these lines so they're not just flopping around. As you can see behind me here, I've got the front end all put back together. I got those two lower bolts put into the condenser bracket, but unfortunately, when I was drilling the holes, I put the drill right into my radiator. So I had to pull the radiator so that I can get that fixed. Now that the front end's back together, we're pretty much done with everything under the hood.
Yeah, we've got the factory heater and air conditioning parts taken out and the new compressor and condensers installed in the trucks.
Now, the condenser install on my truck took a lot longer than I expected because I have a 72 with an egg crate style grill.
If you have a truck similar to mine with a different grill design, you can probably get the install of the condenser done without taking anything apart.
Be sure to stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to finish installing everything inside the cab, and we'll do the wiring and hook up the AC hoses.
Please like and subscribe.
Oh, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when part 2 drops.
Thanks for watching You in a Garage.
That seems pretty decent.